Welcome back to Everyday Conversations with yours truly. I am so grateful that you have joined me on this extensive journey about exploring the seven types of domestic violence. More than ever, I realize how important this conversation was for us to have. I know that we've been focused on women between the ages of 18 and 24, but I'm learning that there are some women outside of those parameters, younger and older, who are absolutely impacted by the devastation of domestic violence. So I definitely want to talk about the total impact today, as well as leave you with some of the resources and things you might consider doing if you or someone that you know is experiencing this type of abuse within their home, within their school, within the workplace, wherever you might find yourself. It is not impossible for us to experience these things in all facets of our lives. So, this total impact is really focused on the kids, the extended family, even the abuser. Again, workplace. There could be even be trauma bonding, and some of you might have heard that term before. But what trauma bonding actually is when the person, me as the victim, or you as a victim, forms a deep emotional bond or an attachment with someone who is causing them harm. Right. So it's that love relationship piece. It's that this is my boss piece. It's the hierarchy or the sense of control. But instead of wanting to move away from the abuse, we find ways to stay bonded. Well, I love them. It's not always like this. It's where those excuses come from. So we really want to bring to awareness that this often happens when there is repeated cycles of abuse and positive reinforcement. Okay, so the cycle of abuse is you don't do what I've asked you to do, and so therefore here comes the wrath. But when you do what you're being asked to do, the wrath is still there. It's just a different form of manipulation. It can also occur between partners, or it could be something again that happens even at work. So I really just want to bring the awareness around what these types of abuse look like and ways that we can overcome them. So that's what the intent of this total impact to the family, to your workplace, to your home, to your church, to your community, and so forth. So, abuse has no end to the impact that it can have. So, we want to definitely stop those cycles. So, let's do a quick review of what we have explored over these last few weeks and talk about each one of these types of abuse in their respective place. So, mental abuse is a psychological and emotional abuse that can be difficult to describe and/or identify. It's non-physical. These are the non-physical behaviors that often cause us to feel hurt, scare us, or upset us. Emotional abuse is also non-physical, and we are a little bit more familiar with these. These are around control, manipulation, isolation, things that may be used to frighten you. It could also be presented as insults, as constant monitoring, excessive jealousy, manipulation, humiliation, intimidation, defensiveness, dismissiveness, among a boatload of other things. Third, we talked about verbal abuse, and this is more common, right? We see this and we go, "Oh, that's abuse," or that's not good." Name calling, yelling, shaming, screaming, shouting out, mocking you, those types of things, hurtful nicknames, if you will, associated often to behaviors that you are or are not doing. That becomes your name. Physical abuse. This is one that we often see and recognize because there are physical bruises, there are broken bones, there are police reports sometimes. We're going to talk about that again, about the importance of documenting these instances when they happen, because they typically only progress. They get worse and worse and worse, and more severe. So we definitely want to pay attention to that. Punching, kicking, slapping, hitting, pinching, those types of things. Choking, pulling your hair, those types of things. We spent some time talking about sexual abuse. And if you were on this journey with me, you know that that was a very difficult conversation, as many of these are. But this is really a complex situation. It can take place within a relationship, meaning a marital or domestic partnership, boyfriend and girlfriend, among family members. It's when you have not given consent and you're afraid that you've been pressured into doing something that this person wants you to do or continue to do. So, this is about having consent or not having consent. We talked a little bit about marital rape as well. in this section, as well as in our spiritual abuse section. We talked extensively about financial abuse, where you're being coerced, or there's a pattern of controlling, threatening, or degrading behaviors related to money or finances, not allowing you to go to school or advance your career so that this person can maintain control, not having the things that you need, even personal items, hygiene items related to things like that. Economic abuse is the more broader term. So withholding resources or food or putting locks on cabinets, all those different types of things fall under this financial abuse category. Spiritual abuse is using the Bible to justify or validate bad behavior. It's misunderstanding the definition of submission, having religion control, or religious control over you, over your children, over the people within your community, and that God complex. Where no one is higher than the voice of the person who is telling you, manipulating you into doing what they want you to do. Some things that we might consider. Okay. And I'm going to go through all of these as kind of like a bucket of steps that you can do, or you can kind of cherry pick because some of them do overlap. So you can absolutely, it is so important to recognize what you are thinking and saying to yourself, because a lot of times we're saying things to ourselves. And when this manipulative, abusive personality comes along, it can reinforce some of the negative things that we've heard from our childhood, or some of the things that we have had difficulty overcoming ourselves. So being mindful of what we're saying to ourselves, when we're saying them, recognizing and stopping that pattern is definitely important. So changing what you think about yourself. Talk to yourself from a place of truth, meaning I am strong. I am a survivor. I am a warrior. I am victorious. You can even use scripture if that is important to you. I'm more than an overcomer. Okay. I am the lender, not the borrower. Whatever you need to tell yourself from that place of healing and on that journey to healing, to stop those negative thought patterns in their tracks. Using affirmations can even help as well to overcome and help you shift your mindset from that negative place to a more positive place. Definitely setting and communicating and respecting your own boundaries is really important. And you'll find that people within whatever circle that you're in, when you start changing, you start finding your strength and using your voice, there will even be some people that might be good in your lives, just may not understand the journey that you're on, that may feel like there may be something against them. You have to be clear. This is not about them. This is about you finding who you are and honoring and respecting the boundaries that you have set in place for yourselves, for your children, for your families, or whoever else is having that total impact based on this environment or the abusive state that we have sometimes allowed ourselves to stay in a little bit longer than we should. Teach others how to treat you by aligning to your truth, aligning your truth to your actions. So being a person of your word, being a person that says, yes, I can do that, or no, that I cannot do that. I can do this, but I can't do that. And keeping your word and being very clear around the boundaries, again, that you're setting for yourself, for your family. And trusting the voice that you are developing within yourself to identify those things that are really important for you to do, and letting your no be no and letting your yes be yes to those things that you want to continue to build upon, building the future that you really desire to have for yourself. And finally, it's practicing walking in this truth every single day. Again, this is not a sprint. This is not a sprint. This is a cross country, like long drive of a run, right? Long drive of a walk. Whatever analogy you want to use, this is not a game. This is not something you're going to win overnight, but it is something that you must practice. It is something that you must unravel and declutter and get underneath those layers. Get those people that surrounded with you, a community of people that not only understand what you're going through, maybe have been through what you're going through. Maybe you're on a journey with someone who wants to, exit this stage left together, or what have you, but you need the strength of people who are going to empower you to continue to be brave, to continue to be bold, and continue to be strong on this journey. Some other things you may want to consider doing is recognizing when a pattern has evolved, when a pattern has shown itself of the unacceptable behaviors that you once thought, oh, that's so cute, he's jealous, he doesn't want, me to talk to these other men, or he maybe is concerned about even the friend group that you have, female friend group. And that may come across as, I'm concerned about you, therefore I want to be sure you're with people who are empowering you. But there is a distinct shift that we might feel within our gut, within our heart, and here in our own heart, our own head, that this has gone from you being concerned about me to you wanting to control what I'm doing. And in the heat of the moment, if this is coming up, it is very important that you remain calm. You address the unacceptable behavior by using I statements. When you I feel in the future, we walk through some of those steps as an example. When you scream at me, or when you call me something other than my name, I feel hurt. In the future, share with me what it is that you're thinking about. Acknowledge me by my name. I prefer that you call me X, Y, and Z. And sometimes when we're dealing with a person who is already in their in an abusive state, in an abusive mindset, you may not be able to have this conversation. So it may require you to stay calm, leave the situation, and maybe you might have an opportunity to come back and address it when things have calmed down. But it is no sense in putting yourself in a more dangerous situation by escalating a situation that is already in full blown rage, or is already in a full blown kind of manic state of being. Again, you want to reset and communicate your boundaries, respect your own boundaries, and continue to be consistent in what you communicate that you want. What does that mean? That means that you have to identify what you really want. And again, practice speaking up, practice walking in the full truth of what you believe and what you want. Create those plans that are going to support what you want for yourself in the future, for not just this terrible relationship, but for relationships ongoing. And I promise you, as you start doing that, the more comfortable you get doing that with yourself and with people that you can trust. These are skills that you can practice with your community. These are skills that you can practice with a coach. These are things that you can talk about with a counselor or with a therapist to develop the type of plan that you need to build a strong foundation and to rebuild a life that makes sense for you, a life that does not require you to be hurt, does not require you to be harmed. Doesn't mean that hard times won't come, but you don't need to be in a situation that is constantly perpetuating the negativity that you want to leave. Okay. Here are some things that I think are really, really, really the crux of everything that I'm hoping that you will glean from all of these conversations. It can take time for you to recognize how severe your situation is. The research that I provided before is that it may take up to 7 violent episodes before a woman decides to leave an abusive relationship. That number is staggering to me. But as I shared with you, you're not alone. It took more than 7 times for me. But once I made that decision to leave, there was no turning back after then. Okay. You want to report any incident to the authorities, to your community, when it happens. If it's not reported, it didn't happen. And if you go back again, it will only increase, getting worse over time. You have no control. I had no control. We have no control over what the other person decides to do, what they want to do. So it is very important that you take control of you and the decision that you're making. Get help. Talk with the doctor, talk with your therapist, talk with a counselor, talk with a trusted, knowledgeable person to help you navigate through this new world. It is absolutely a new world that you are living in when you decide to leave the control of someone else and decide to make decisions for yourself that are for your best interest and the best interest, again, of your children or your family that may also be involved or impacted by your situation. Create a plan. Where will you live? How will you make money? Where will your kids go to school if they have to go to school? Do you have to change? Do you have to get custody? Do you need a lawyer? And this is another piece of information I want to share with you is that most of us don't know that a lawyer will do free consultations. You don't need money right away to get a lawyer. What you do need is the support to get the advice or get on the path where you can decide which resources you will be able to pay for or free resources that are available to you. Most lawyers, most counselors, most therapists, most people in the field that are qualified to help you will have a conversation with you for free. Money typically is not involved unless you decide to take on those services or be in contract with them to continue to have their partnership. And even then, there are sliding scales. There are different ways and different programs that are available to you to help you on this journey. It is not easy. It is not easy. And it is probably one of the most frustrating things, one of the most hurtful things to have to tell someone that you need this type of help, but help is available. So please create a plan. Determine your best strategy and your best modes of movement so that you can get the help and get out of the situation that is bogging your life down and really, really causing more pain than is necessary once you figured out that you want something different. It is important that you set those healthy boundaries. Set those boundaries. If you need help or want to through how to set boundaries, I'm here for that as well. My team is here to help you. We are here to support what is best for you. And if I don't have the answer, I am not ashamed. I am not afraid. I have other resources and other people who may be even more qualified than I am to help you learn how to do that. One of the things that I believe is most important is forgiving yourself. I know on my journey, that was one of the hardest things that I needed to do. It was like, how did I let myself get this far gone? How did I allow my children to be exposed to these things? How it is an endless rabbit or bunny trail or hole, sinking hole that can really spiral out of control if we think about it too much. But these are questions that we do want to ask ourselves and begin letting ourselves know that we were operating under the information that we had. We were making the best decision based on the information that we had. And once we learned something new, once we learned something different, we were able to do something different. I want you and me to practice taking time to heal. Never stop dreaming about the life that you believe is possible for yourself. And when you think about that life that you want, I want you to see yourself loving yourself, living the life that is healthy, having the connections and the relationships that are most important to you, putting yourself first. So therefore, you're not giving from an empty place. You cannot give what you don't have. If that means going back to school, if that means getting a counselor or getting a coach or getting some other resource to help you learn how to love yourself in a new, healthy way, do it. You're absolutely worth it. Okay. And then some considerations. Think about and review the finances. This is really important. You might be a stay-at-home mom right now. You might not have the education or the resources that you may want. You may work a part-time job. You may have no way to make any income. I promise you, there is a way for you to review what you need, what you think you might need, and have someone help you again create that plan. I want you to think about and identify your personal responsibilities. What things may be in your name, or where might your name be being used for bills or for household things that you may not even be aware of? You have to review. And again, one of the hardest things to do is to realize how much control we have allowed someone else to have in our lives. But when you become responsible for you, I promise you that there will be a way for you to make enough money to be responsible for the things that you are actually responsible for, not the things that your offender or your abuser are telling you you're responsible for everything. Separate and or get a personal bank account. Again, the full conversation is this, that where this information is coming from is about financial abuse, so go back and review that. I've given you some examples on why it's important for you to have an account, so then if you do have a job, you can designate where you want money to go, where you want this portion of your check to go, so that you can start a nest egg, so that you can start rebuilding your life from to be safe and to be something that you can sustain and be completely independent versus dependent or codependent on the person that is your abuser. Remove access to your personal accounts. You might need help to do this. Some people are not as tech savvy. I know I'm not. I know how to use the systems that I use on a regular basis to do the work that I do. But there are a ton of systems out there, a ton of financial ways. I haven't used this, so I want to be careful. But like there are different subscriptions that you might be using and that you may not even know that you're paying for. So you want to take a deep dive into your finances. You want to take a deep dive into those things that you're responsible for and create an account that allows you to take care of those things on your own and have a way to save such that your future is much more secure in your hands now that you're loving yourself and moving in the direction that you want to go. Create a budget. This is about creating budget that is within your control, that is based on the things that you absolutely need for you, for your children, or what have you. So then you know what you need to make within a month or within a week based on the bills or the obligations that you personally have. Be intentional about your financial goals. And again, set those financial boundaries. I was just sharing with my family today, hey, I made dinner. So we're not going to be eating out today. When I realized how much money we spend on eating out, because I love to celebrate the small wins. You got to create space for that, especially when you're now going to be living in some ways on your own until your Prince Charming or until your true promise is completely revealed. So you want to create yourself with success, set yourself up for success by creating those boundaries, financial boundaries. And finally, again, practice setting those goals and celebrating your success. I know I just might have sounded like that might be a negative thing to celebrate, but it's not. It's celebrating within your means. It's buying a pizza instead of going to Ruth's Chris. Okay. Live within your means so you always have what it is that you need for yourself and for your family. That's really the essence of the message that I want to leave with you today. As you are understanding the total impact of how these devastating moments have impacted your life, your children's life, your family lives, your community, your school, your work, or wherever you are, I want you to know that it's over today. It's over as soon as you say that it's over, and you can begin implementing these steps to set yourself up for the success that is most important to you. And don't let anybody tell you what success looks like for you. Don't live someone else's dream because they haven't had your experiences to dream in the way that you want to dream at this point in your life. Be intentional with yourself, love yourself, forgive yourself, create those boundaries, set those plans, communicate what it is that you're doing, and practice doing that each and every day so that you not only build the confidence of other people, but really you're building the confidence and the reassurance and the trust of your own self. And again, I am here for you. We have a team of people that are here for you. There's a community that is designed just for you. In our next episode, we're going to be talking about our Queen Tribe and what that means, and the community of people who have been where you are and who are willing to support you on this journey, whether that's through mentorship, whether that's simply through sharing testimony, or whether that is by coming together and having deeper level conversations that can help you secure the future that is most important for you. In the meantime, continue to give yourself the same love, the same grace that you give to others. And until next time, we'll see you again. Take care.